So, one thing that you're super into right now, and I think you're batshit crazy for it, but it's pretty fucking dope, is GameStop.
Oh yeah, hard into GameStop.
See, this I knew you were gonna want to talk about this one. Okay, my question is, why did you invest in GameStop, and why the fuck are you still holding on?
Oh man, so that goes back to so I was on a subreddit, Wall Street Bets. I've been on it for a few years, losing a lot of money that way, which is the whole thing. Back in late November, I saw a post talking about GameStop. How short interest and how there's a lot to it, and Ryan Cohen possibly like buying the company. So I started reading into it, and I just got to the conclusion it's a dying retail store with no future. So I just laughed. And then a few weeks later, I saw another post, and I read into it, and I'm like, wait, maybe this guy might be onto something. And as any idiot online would do, I threw all the money I could at it based off of about 5 minutes of reading.
That's a fair thing to do.
Stranger's post. Yeah.
At the end of the day, just fucking throw your money at the internet, right?
So I had pretty much, I think, 15 grand in my savings.
You put all that money in?
Oh, no, not at first. I put about 10,000 was my initial investment in the mid-December. And I had a few option calls, which are basically like short-term gambles, which I sold them at the first when it went from $20 to $30 after the Ryan Cohen announcement that he's joining the board of directors. Definitely would have made way more, probably $50,000. I think
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
I had 10 option calls that actually expired the week after the January run up, so it might have been over like a couple $100,000.
So why the fuck did this happen? Like, do you have any idea how it went?
Yeah.
Do you think it started as a meme stock? Is it still a meme stock?
So this is just after months of research, and I do want it to be known I have never sold a single stock, and I don't plan to until Citadel is close their business.
Who is Citadel?
So this relates back to GameStop.
Are you down with the man right now? Fuck them.
Oh, definitely down with the man. But this relates back. So GameStop was falling on harsh times. I think the old board of directors, the old CEO, didn't really have a clear direction for it. Gaming's moving online. I'm a PC gamer. I haven't bought a physical game in years and years. So I think a lot of hedge funds and big, like places like Melvin Capital, Point72 with Steve Cohen, they saw this and they said, okay, like this is a failing business. We'll short it. And long the neck, shorting is when you borrow a stock. You go, hey, you have 10 shares of GameStop. Can I borrow those 10? And I will pay you interest. And they say, sure. So you borrow them and you sell them. And the way shorters make money is if if the price goes down, they rebuy those 10, give them back to who they borrowed from. And well, they've just made how much the difference, So if it goes from $10 to $5 and you borrowed 10,000 stocks, well, you just made, what is that? $100,000, whatever. $50,000, you make that money. So that's how shorters make money. And I think the shorters went hog wild and they kept shorting GameStop. And there is now this is theoretical territory, but there's something called naked shorting, which is where market makers and larger hedge funds they don't borrow stocks. They just sell stocks they don't own under the illusion that they'll buy them back later. And because of the way our stock system is set up with T+2 and failure to delivers, if I sell you something, you can basically give an IOU and you'll say, I'll get it to you eventually. I'm a big hedge fund. I'm a big market maker. I'll eventually give those stocks back to you. And I don't think they did. And I think that they thought GameStop was going out of business. So they just kept selling and selling and selling shares. And then when Ryan Cohen joined the board of directors, when all this positive press around it, I think it became a meme stock. People saw the short interest. They said, hey, let's, make some money. Shot up to 300. People were making, hand over fist money.
Yeah.
And these big hedge funds were losing. Say you borrowed 1 million shares at $10. Well, the price is now 300. That's $290 times a million. So you're down almost $300 million. Just for an example.
Oh my God, this is a lot of fucking cash.
A lot of money.
And they're playing around with it like it's nothing.
And I honestly believe that they're balls deep. And I think that they're underwater. So that's when Robinhood stepped in. And, as the broker for the people, they decided to give the people a dicking down.
Yeah, the big Robin Hood dick in the ass. Yeah.
It's a classic.
Oh yeah. At the end of the day, you could make a lot of money right now, but here's a handful of dicks I'm not letting you sell.
Exactly. So I think that caused a lot of panic selling. And I remember I was actually at work. This was my old job. I was a surgical veterinary technician. So I was actually in surgery, monitoring a dog. I think it was a spay. It was an abdomen, the vet was in the abdomen. So I was monitoring the anesthesia, and I had my phone, and I was talking with.
You were checking stock.
I was, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think people think surgery is a lot more involved. As a tech, I literally just sit there and go, "Yep, dog's alive," for 2 hours. I was talking with one of the other surgical techs, like, "Oh, I'm making all this money, blah blah blah," and then I saw Robinhood stopped, and the price I think bucketed back to $100, and. So my initial stocks I think I had 336 in January. And I remember my dad texting me like, dude, sell. Did you not see, look, it's bucketing. It's going to go back down to zero. And I remember looking at that. And my first thought was, holy shit. I had, I think earlier that day, 200,000 because it in pre-market, I think it was up to 200,000. That's how much money I had. That's life-changing for me.
That's insane.
And I looked, and I think it was down to 60,000. And I'm like, I just lost 140,000. And I remember there was a moment of panic, and then there was a moment of yeah, go fuck yourself. I refused to ever sell. And that was the moment, in my head, I said that this isn't about money anymore to me. I mean, granted, it is. It's about making...
Of course it's about money. Everybody wants to make money.
But it's also a stubbornness of the people at the top. And I'm not even talking the 1%. I'm talking the 0.00001%.
Yeah.
The people who have you look at the amount of money.
So much money and they can wipe their assholes with the $100 bills.
It's insane. Some people can fly themselves to space because they got bored.
With a cowboy hat.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's where the money is. If you wear a cowboy hat, your stock goes up.
So you know what I said? I'm like, these people can't even fucking handle losing one time that they're going to do all this illegal shit. I'm like, no. Go fuck yourselves. So I watched it go back down to, I think it hit $38. And it was the day after DFV, D-fucking value, the guy who... just rode GameStop. He was in it for years before this, and he was in front of Congress, and he was just like, you know what? I like the stock. I support retail's investors' decisions. And I transferred from Robinhood to Fidelity, and then I put every single dollar in my bank account into GameStop. At that time, I had $11,200. I put $10,000, grabbed it, threw into GameStop. That $1,100. I'm like, that is my safety fund, because my logic is I'm never going to sell. So I don't want to put all my money in my car breakdown and me be fucked and have to sell. I refuse. So I put it all, bought it again at that dip. I bought it at $46. And then it's been up and down, went to 350, back down, 350, back down. It's just every step of the way, I'm on Super Stonk, the subreddit, just reading all the DD, reading all the information.
Is that the Reddit you would talk about now? Has Wall Street Bets
Wall Street Bets sold out.
You think?
Yeah, no, they gave Vlad a big old reach around and sold out. And I think some of the mods did. Some of the mods just they're like, we don't give a shit about GameStop. Get this shit out of here. So then we went to r/GME, and then that was a disaster. So I'm on Super Stonk. It's got a bunch of smart people.
All right, so everybody go to Super Stonk now. Yeah, hopefully we find something big.
I mean, you can, if you just read into it, and honestly, I believe that a lot of people are misinformed about GameStop. Before I knew about it, I'm like, this is a dying company. There's no direction, but... They have over $1 billion in cash, no long-term debts. They're investing in maybe the NFT space. They have an entire dev team possibly behind it. There's so many directions they can go. And I honestly believe that with or without a squeeze, the stock is grossly undervalued.
Of course. So you could say that the stock in GameStop stock could actually eventually not even be a meme. It could just be I don't know who owns Steam. Is Steam privately owned?
Steam is Valve,
so
but they're privately
exactly.
owned.
So what you could say is they could be Steam, and all of a sudden they're a public, stock. So imagine Steam. I don't know if Valve's public. Valve's not public, right? Because I remember trying to get some of that. But if that's public, that's huge. That you're looking at thousands or some shit.
The market share of gaming, it's one of the fastest growing industries, and you got to think that. Now, is the shutdown? Is part 2 of the shutdown going to happen? I feel like there's a lot of weird stuff going on with that.
Yeah, nobody knows really.
The first shutdown was great for gaming. Everyone was stuck inside. Everyone started gaming, and I feel like a lot of people who didn't game before are now maybe into it, and I think that there's a lot of potential for GameStop.
There's not a lot to do right now with
exactly,
and if there is another shutdown, which I really don't, I hope not, because
me
then
too.
As is, you go to a mall right now, and I went to my close mall, Bridgewater, and all the stores are closed.
Yep.
Everything's closed, and the reason why, from what I heard, is they went up to some company, or like Starbucks isn't there anymore, and you would think Starbucks is a huge company, they could afford it. They said basically, buy this 3-year deal with us, or you can't stay here. 3-year automatic, nothing you can do about it. That's what we're gonna do. That's fucking wild. So they said, no, we're out. I mean, we'll leave. We're not gonna pay an insane amount of money just because you want. And that's what scares me with another lockdown. But of course, on the other side of that, people like you who are invested in GameStop stock or something like that, gaming starts hitting up again. GameStop stock starts not being a meme, and then you have an actual stable stock. And it's fucked up because when I was a kid, we did the 8th grade stock market test. I bought GameStop stock.
Oh, man.
I bought GameStop stock. I bought Nike, GameStop, Under Armour, and whatever, but GameStop. And now I think back and I'm like, fuck me, sideways. I could have been a millionaire right now. I'm so pissed.
Hey.
So what would you say to people who are holding on to GameStop right now?
You know what I say? Just keep buying, keep holding. Honestly, I do believe in the MOAS. All I know is that somebody is a high triple X holder. Now I am.
What's that?
I own 585 shares.
Yeah,
that's how many shares I own right now. I refuse to sell until. My whole thing with selling too, I'm kind of over the whole idea of money and the concept of I have a great job, a good job right now. I make a decent bit of money, but we're all trapped. We're all wage slaves right now.
Yeah, of course.
That say I sold at $200,000, so I have $200,000. I can put a down payment on a house that I'll never be able to afford? Like, no, fuck that shit. I will sell when me and all the people I care about never have to work again. And I'm going to try to wait as long as I can so the people who own less shares than me have a chance out too. Yeah. I think that's also I think a lot of people did sell in January, but I think the core group of people who didn't have just keep buying more, and they're similar to me. They're like-minded in the sense that they're like, you can have my shares when you go out of business. Thank you very much.
So as somebody who has a lot of shares at this point, do you feel responsible for holding on?
I don't feel responsible for anybody else.
Yeah.
I am in the position where I think that kind of like a prisoner's dilemma type situation, that if everyone goes into it thinking, hey, I'm going to try to sell early, I'll try to make money, well, that's where it will end,
Exactly.
But if everyone holds, everyone will make more money.
That's the issue, though, is, people start to get nervous. Like you said, you had that little bit of fear in the beginning.
100%.
But some people can't get over that. Some people think, oh, shit, we got to jump ship right now. Yeah. Like, I know Dave's invested in it right now, right?
Oh, yeah,
How's he doing right now with it?
He's nervous. I think, honestly, I think that he probably will sell on the way up. But, hey, if that's what you got to do to make your anxiety, or that's what you got to do, man.
Of course. And somebody who's in your position, you have a lot of money at stake. And from what you're telling me, I forgot, we talked about this once, and you said at the end of the day, I either start back to where I was with less money, or I'm in a position where I have a lot of money and I fucked over these people. Or not fucked over, but you fucked over this company.
And I never have to work again.
Exactly.
I think that there is a market crash coming. I think that's a separate issue,
of course,
relating to GameStop. And I honestly do believe that if it does happen, they'll correlate with each other in the sense that, hey, I'm short X amount of shares. Well, now everything else is down, and now I got the bank that I borrowed from Colin, so I'll have to cover. And I think that the media will spin that as to GameStop causing the crash, and not the gross negligence of the Fed right